coming to you with a little tutorial for these Christmas stockings. You can make them in either a blanket yarn or a plush yarn, and I will show you the differences. I recommend making them in a blanket yarn if you are gifting any gift cards this Christmas, because you can fit a gift card in there and it makes the perfect wrapping. This is a completely no-sew tutorial. You will only need a needle to weave in ends, and it only uses 2 colors and a very minimal amount of yarn. They work up super quickly, maybe 15 to 20 minutes after you've made your first one. So they are the perfect thing to make in this last week before Christmas. I will put some information up on the screen for you, and then we will get into the tutorial. So happy crafting! Just quickly before we begin, I'm going to show you the size difference between blanket yarn and plush yarn. So this was made in Hobie's Honey Bunny yarn, which is a size 6 super bulky yarn. And then this one, I actually don't know what exact yarn this is, but it is a blanket yarn. I guess the important thing about the difference in size is that this one is really more for if you want to decorate your tree or put it on a gift for someone, whereas this one will fit a gift card in it if you want to use it as some wrapping paper for a gift card. Today's one I'm going to be making in Hobie's Honey Bunny yarn. So I have a red and a white. You will also need a pair of scissors, a stitch marker, a darning needle, just to sew in the ends. There is no other sewing in this pattern, and of course your crochet hook. For the Hobie Honey Bunny yarn, I use a 5mm hook. Let's get started. Starting with our white yarn, I'm going to make a magic ring. You can make this however you like. This is just my method of doing it. I used Bella Coco's tutorial when I first started. I will link it up here somewhere. So we've got our magic ring. I close the magic ring on my hook when I use plush yarn so that I don't have to try and close it when there's already a bunch of stitches on there. It makes it a lot easier. And I learnt that from Zach, aka Crochet Me Zaddy's plush tips and tricks video, which I will also link somewhere on the screen. Alright, so we are going to make 8 single crochets in our magic ring to start. Alright, so we've got 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And round 2, we are going to increase all the way around. So we're putting 2 single crochets into each single crochet of this round. So we'll end this round with 16 stitches in total. So it's 2 in the first stitch, move on to the second stitch, 2 more single crochets, and we're going to do that all the way around until we have 16. Alright, so we've just finished our second round, and what we're going to do now is just a round of single crochets. So 16 single crochets, 1 in each of the round before. So I'll remove my stitch marker. Meet you back at the end of round 3. Okay, I'm up to the last stitch in row 3, and I'm going to switch to red at the end of this. So the way I do that is put my hook through, pull up a loop, and then don't pull through the final loop. I'm gonna cut my white, grab my red yarn from over here, pop it through, pull that through. And then I usually just give these a little tug to tighten them up a bit. So, moving on, we are now going to do 4 rounds of single crochet all the way around. So no increases, no decreases, just 4 rounds of single crochet. So when I start this, I'm just going to, when I make my first couple of stitches with the red, I'm going to catch the tails of the white and red in my stitch there, and that will secure them in place, and I will not need to sew them in. Alright, so we'll do 4 rounds of this and then I will meet you back. That is my last stitch of the 4th round in red. So now you should have 3 rows of white and then 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of red. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this red, cut that off, and we're going to make the heel. What I like to do is to make sure that this little color change here sits at the bottom of my stocking. So to make it a little bit less obvious, because it'll be where the fold is rather than right on the side, what I'm going to do is fold my piece in half where that stitch jump is. So you see when I flip it over, only a keen eye will see it. Now we're going to be making the heel, and the heel consists of 8 single crochets. So I'm going to, where this fold is, I'm going to count back 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is where I'm going to insert my hook and pick up my white yarn. So I'm just going to make a loop, and then we're going to single crochet in there. We're going to do 8 single crochets. You'll see once again I'm working over that end of the yarn, and when I get to this red one I'm going to pull it a bit tight when I jump down here. So jumping down and then pulling that red. This pesky white is getting in the way so you can't really see, but pulling that red and working over it to work it in as well. How many are we up here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one more. 8. So we have 8 white single crochets. We're going to now chain 1, turn our work, and work back across this for 8 single crochets. Again, no increases or decreases, just working in rows of single crochet, and we are going to work that for 4 rows. Now that your 4 rows are finished, we're going to chain 1 and we're just going to work so that our hook is in the middle of this heel. So we're going to do 4 single crochets. So now our hook and yarn is in the middle of this heel. We're going to fold it in half, pull that red fluff out, fold it in half, and we're going to work through both sides of this heel. So I'm going to put my hook through that next stitch, and then I'll try and move this so you can see, put it back through the stitch I just worked. So basically what we're doing is working this together, and you can see that that's going to turn into the heel of the stocking. So I'm through 2 stitches here, and I'm just going to single crochet. I'm going to do that 4 times, working up this heel. 2. Let's do the next one. 3. Causing me grief. So on this final one, this is my 4th stitch. I'm going to once again cut this white, and I'm going to pull through my red, tighten up again, so once you pull through this red, what I like to do is just one chain, and then we're going to work around this stocking. So we're going to work 4 stitches into this part of the white, and then we're going to work 8 single crochets in the unworked rows here from our final row before we started the heel, and then we're going to do 4 single crochets across here and join it back up and start working in our rounds again. So I've chained 1, and now I'm going to try and go into the sides of these 4 rows we've just done. So sometimes it can be a little bit of manipulation that you need to do. That's 1, going to the side here. 2. So there is my 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches along the side of this. It's okay if it doesn't look the prettiest right now. It'll all make sense in the end. Now we are going to work into the tops of this round 7. Just 1 single crochet per stitch. So there should be 8 of them across here. Alright, now we're back at the other side of the heel. We're going to once again try and get 4 single crochets across here. If you can, there's 4 rows, so try and work into the side of each row 1 single crochet. You'll find your white here. I try to work that into the next little row. So my 4th one here. Now we're going to find the first single crochet from our previous round and just work in rounds once again. So remembering this one here is a chain, the chain that we use to get up. So I'm going to go into this second one here. Catch my white to work it in. And that is the new beginning of my round. So that's where my stitch marker is going to go. And now we're going to continue working around for 6 more rows, just single crochets all the way. You should, hopefully, have 16 stitches. If you worked 4 into the sides of your heels and 8 across in the unworked rows. Alright, that's the end of that first round. 5 more to go. Okay, so we've finished our red, and now what we're going to do is add this white trim up here. So I'm going to switch back to our white yarn. I'm just going to pull that back so I can change. Cut off my red, grab my white. And the way we're going to add this, the way we're going to get this kind of nice ridged effect here is we are going to start with a single crochet in the next stitch. Again, I'm going to catch these two when I'm making my stitches. So I've done a single crochet, and then we're going to do 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So we're going to do a double crochet increase. Crochet back into this next third stitch here, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. So we're going to do a single crochet. I'm going to stop catching my yarn now. Single crochet, double crochet increase, 2 in the same stitch, single crochet. We're going to do that all the way around. You'll notice when we get to here, there's 1 extra stitch, so just do an extra single crochet at the end. So I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, so we're at our final stitch. We're going to do an extra single crochet in here, and then to make our chain to hang on the tree, we are going to slip stitch into the top of our first stitch in this white round, and then we're going to chain 15. You can make this chain longer if you like. So that's our chain of 15. And then I am going to just come back to the final stitch in our white round and slip stitch it in there. And the reason I do that is it just keeps it a bit more in the middle than if I were to slip stitch it into the next stitch, and it gives it a little bit more of a gap than if I did it in the same one, so it twists around less. And then that's it, we've slip stitched in. We're just gonna finish off and pull through. And then weave in this end here. inside and stitch it through these white stitches in the previous row so that the white doesn't become as obvious as if we were to sew it through the red rows. And there you go. That is your new stocking. So like I said, you can also use it in a blanket yarn. I just wouldn't recommend it in a DK or worsted weight. It probably wouldn't work up as thick. Definitely go with more chunky yarns for this. There you have it, your very own mini stocking. I hope you enjoy gifting these at Christmas or hanging them on your tree. This is my first YouTube tutorial, so if you want to see more or if you have any tips for me, please pop them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'd love to just know if you made a stocking along with me. So let me know in the comments, give this a like and subscribe for more crochet content. Thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas and I will see you next time. Bye!